journey of a decade. President Adama Barrow's journey to the presidency followed 3 decades of democratic rule and 2 decades of autocracy. Thus, the latter sent critical thinkers and commentators into mute mode. The few that dared to unmute during dictatorship rule were either mercilessly dealt with or were inaccessible because most were living in the diaspora. The diasporans in the neighboring countries did their best to connect with their families, while those in Europe, America, and beyond had to endure not seeing their families and loved ones. Another category, who decided to stay in the country, did so with a mind my business attitude, yet carefully raising consciousness through advocacy and civic enlightenment. The Barrow regime had to learn the best practices of leading in a democratic atmosphere and bringing development at the same time, which his predecessors did not have to endure. They ruled either by allowing democracy to flourish with slow infrastructure development or enforcing dictatorship and attempting to fast-track infrastructure development. Both had their credits, but it was like citizens could not enjoy a parallel development of both in a go. By the time the Gambia prepared for the 2016 presidential elections, a series of issues became campaigning points. The promise of democracy and freedom of speech, promoting peace and development, creating job opportunities for young people, and other governance priority concerns. During the 2016 campaign, candidate Adama Barrow and his coalition team crisscrossed the most remote parts of the Gambia, experiencing first-hand exclusion and isolation most Gambians lived in due to lack of access to good roads, clean drinking water, health facilities, and the poor state of school infrastructures. They experienced that having access to electricity was a dream for many and not even considered a priority in their lives. Access to markets for their hard labor and products was minimal and challenging. At the institutional level, professional civil servants were constrained by continuous censorship, uncertainty, and frustration to initiating and implementing policies and programs without interference and harassment. At the international level, the country's image was shattered with embarrassing diplomatic policies, worse news of extrajudicial killings, maiming, and wrongful imprisonment of political opponents. The political impasse from December 2016 to January 2017 further increased the instability and risk citizens had to endure. Eventually, the dust was settled, and the reality of running a country in a democratic dispensation kicked off again from the Jawara regime with a new impetus. Therefore, President Adama Barrow's journey started with high hopes, expectations, and excitement, with limited public awareness of how good governance works. Citizens wanted immediate results without knowing that the rules, regulations, and legal frameworks had been designed to entrench bureaucracy, slow down processes, and make it challenging to fast-track inclusive development. President Barrow's transformations were guided by the enablers of the National Development Plan 2017 to 2021 and its subsequent version of 2023 to 2027 of RF-NDP dubbed Iriwa. The first public university established in 1996 by the former president provided temporal classes in various parts of the Greater Banjul, students traversing between Banjul, Kanifing, and Brikama for classes for 28 years. In less than a decade, under the Barrow government, the first modern University of the Gambia campus at Faraba Banta was built and inaugurated. Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, was upgraded and transformed to the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET, while the Management Development Institute, became the Civil Service University CSU of the Gambia. The Gambia College, established under former President Jawara, is now University of Education, the Gambia UEG. Building such education systems in the country places options and opportunities for citizens to have the requisite skill sets and knowledge to take charge of the country and its resource management. Having a succinct vision that a country cannot advance without its people having the requisite skill in key technical areas, the Barrow government is set to advancing technical and vocational training as a priority in the education system. The government has incorporated TVET education to cover students from Arabic and Islamic education systems to encourage inclusivity and prepare them to uptake skills for improved livelihoods, employment, and self-reliance. The Gambia's roads and bridges constructed between 1964 to 2016 included 600 kilometers of roads and bridges in Kerewan and Sankulekunda. The government constructed the 250-meter Samba Juma Bridge in Basse and the 170-meter Fatoto Bridge in the Upper River region. The bridges connect with the 121-kilometer Lamin Koto Pasamas Road through the Badala Yorobawal roads in the north of the region and the 42 kilometers Basse Koina Road on the south of the river, creating a ring road in the region with a population of over 200,000. The ring road makes it possible for Gambians, especially pregnant and nursing mothers, crossing the river in small canoes and boats to access health and other services from the north to the south bank at Basse. To further decentralize social services like health, for the first time since 1965, Tumana and Jimara districts had modern health facilities in 2024. The Honorable Hassan Musa Kamara and Ada Juma Jalo Health Centers incorporated all-inclusive delivery rooms, highlighting women's right to dignity while in labor. In 52 years of political independence, the Upper River region did not have a college of education. On the contrary, within 8 years of the Barrow government, the first college of education named Basse College was established in 2018. The college brought in possibilities to close the gender gap in higher education. Married women and single mothers can now pursue their dreams of raising their educational status, preparing them to be better equipped to participate in public life. In 2020, an unfortunate inferno devastated the people of URR, bringing to ashes the central market. President Barrow visited the scene and decided that his government will construct a modern market that will incorporate safety measures and more hygienic stalls for the market women in particular. This plan came to fruition with the completion of 246 shops and stalls in less than 2 years of the inferno. Under the Universal Access to Electricity program, communities as remote as Nyamanari in Kantora or Sinchuwalube in Sando districts respectively are amongst 171 communities in the Upper River region enjoying developments associated with access to electricity. Before 2021, the main source of water supply for rural Gambians was traditional wells, and the past two governments focused on improving the situation with hand-pumped wells. Parallel to these developments, under the current regime, as of 2024, 94 communities are also benefiting from the supply of clean water from industrial boreholes in the region. Another initiative to advance the decentralization of river transportation and enhance trade in the Gambia is the construction of a dry port in Basse. Trading beyond its borders will be enhanced and expanded to the sub-region. It is often reported by development agents that the CRR north of the Gambia is amongst the most deprived parts of the country. Under colonial rule, the country had only one major hospital in Bansang and the only boarding school called Armitage High School. the alma mater of most prominent Gambians. The Central River region, known for rice production, had many project initiatives. Unfortunately, the projects could not be sustained to reduce the cost of foreign exchange invested into rice importation. Under the current regime, President Barrow encouraged the Gambian private sector to partner with the government to invest in rice cultivation, remodeling the sector from seasonal production to an all-year-round business model of rice production. At the famous Ijahali Pacha rice field, industrial production has been taken up by Maru Farms, and at Bayaba in the Central River North, Jah Oil's farms harvested and bagged its first harvest in 2024. Q Group, Gach, and the Ahmadiyya Jamaat groups have also initiated commercial rice production towards releasing the country's drive for food security in different parts of the country. The road infrastructure development of the main truck from Farafenye connecting to the Lamin Koto Pasamas with domestic resources initiated and completed over 38 kilometers from Njao to Nyanija and more than 13 kilometers in Kawur. Under President Barrow, remote communities along the Lamin Koto Pasamas Highway enjoy 121 kilometers of tar road, bringing public transportation system in the rural area. It has also connected Bush Town with the Lamin Koto Pasamas with a new tar road and electricity supply as part of the rural electrification project. Nyanija, for instance, with a population close to 10,000, is enjoying social services such as health, education, road infrastructure, electricity and water as the Barrow regime endeavors to fulfill its social contract with the citizens. Additionally, building capacity at a decentralized level is given priority. The Kawur Senior School now hosts a modern lab to encourage and give opportunities for science, engineering and technology education in rural Gambia. To make education accessible to communities, teachers' quarters are built in different areas as remote as Same Pachonki. Furthermore, another skills center has been established in Brikamabar. The Central River region has benefited from a huge health infrastructure at Njao in the Salum district. It shortens the distance to either Farafenye or Bansang major hospitals and brings services closer to the people. With a theater, maternal and children's wards amongst others, the people from the Salum and Nanija areas will be served with better and well-equipped facilities. For many years, herders in the Central River would move their livestock to Senegal, searching for drinking points. Alas, a borehole has been erected to serve communities in Salum. In the Lower River region, though the smallest region had only benefited from the main trunk road from the Greater Banjul to the interior of the eastern part of the country in over 5 decades under the past 2 governments. The Kiang part was deliberately excluded from most social amenities because of its political party affiliation, especially under the second regime. The coming of change in 2016 brought about a new dawn of development for the Kiang districts. The first light access electricity became a reality in the area with the Light Up Kiang project, which President Barrow initiated in 2017. Apart from the MRC Outreach Clinic in Kiang, Keneba, no public health facility existed in the 3 districts of the region. In 2024, the Barrow regime initiated and completed the construction of a multi-million-dollar health facility in Kiang Jali. The Lower River region since 2017 has experienced a major road infrastructural development. Since colonial rule, it was not until the Barrow government that an 80-kilometer road was initiated and completed in Kiang. In the eastern part, the Kapada Belt has also seen massive road work of 102 kilometers for the first time. Since Barrow came to office 8 years ago, 5 communities in the Lower River region benefited from industrial water supply. Going through the historic narration of how colonial masters traveled to the North Bank to meet the chiefs. After the attainment of independence, 6 decades ago, it was not until the second regime that the Esau-Badibu stretch in the North Bank region had a motorable highway and a bridge at Kerewan. Under the leadership of President Barrow, his government broke barriers by undertaking a major construction of the Hakalang Road, which is critical to bring other social amenities to rural communities. However, many doubted this unimaginable project, which has not only translated into reality, but is opening the way for access to electricity in the once isolated communities on the Hakalang Belt, including the historic village of Jufure. The improved road brings many more possibilities, including women gardeners having easier access to market their vegetables, increased tourism activities, and access to more community development possibilities. On the Badibu part of the North Bank, new roads connecting from the main trunk lead to communities like Njawara, Salikenye, and Njen Sanjal, bring people closer and makes travel easier for business or social networking. The government of President Barrow modernized and upgraded the Esau Health Center to accommodate more services at the facility, limiting the possibilities for referral to Banjul and the constraints associated with crossing from Bara to Banjul. Also in the North Bank, modern equipped health facilities have been constructed at Chizim Majau and Salikenye. The improved maternal and child health rating under the Barrow administration attests to better services and strategic planning of the health system. Communities in the North Bank also have a fair share of new schools and classrooms. Amongst them is a school at Bali Mandinka. The Kombo part of the West Coast region is known for gardening and horticulture, and the Fonyi part is also involved in a seasonal farming and gardening. Despite being situated close to urban areas, these are rural settings that require access to roads, water, and electricity. In the Fonyis, centers have been established in Demban and Kanilai to develop the skills of young people in technical and vocational education. Feeder roads connecting communities like Sangonjor, Kamfenda, Kanilai, Kalaji, Kangmamudu, and Mayok are under construction to ease traveling and open opportunities to access markets and other facilities. A TVET center for fisheries is under construction at Gunjur, and another TVET center is operating in Sanyang, both in Kombo South. Also in the same district, roads leading to Sanyang and Gunjur beaches are under construction. The plan for a new port site at Sanyang will also come with an expansion of the coastal road linking the Southern Kombo Highway. Jambur has a new road connecting to the new Sukuta Jabang Jambanjeli Road, connecting to Brikama. Jambur is also home to the biggest solar plant in the country, completed in 2024.
A little over 1 year, we assembled here to lay the foundation stone for this ambitious project. Today, we have gladfully returned to commission the plan for it to begin delivering clean energy into the national grid. With honor and profound appreciation, I thank Almighty Allah for the blessing of gathering here to inaugurate the 23 megawatt solar PV plant before us.
Having learned from the experience of COVID-19 and other global impacts brought the government's attention to the need to be prepared for national emergencies. Currently, the construction of a 1,500-bed national emergency hospital is advancing in Farato, Kombo South, and is 3 times bigger than the main referral hospital in Banjul. Also at Farato village, a medical waste treatment center has been completed and is operational under Barrow's 8-year rule. At Brikama, the Barrow government completed the first phase of a modern market in a densely populated district that feeds from different sources in the region. The powerhouse for the 20-megawatt plant is located at Brikama. In Kombo East, an industrial borehole has been built at Farabasutu, serving a population of 1,978 in the area. The West Coast region shares with the Kanifing municipality a 50-kilometer OIC road network, including the 6-lane Bethel-Harding Highway with flyovers. The Bethel-Harding has transformed the image of the country and ease for the increased number of vehicles plying the road. The Barrow government is also working on the dual service road along the Bethel-Harding to access services and commercial areas along the highway. The Barrow government plans to develop the roads, drainage and sewage system in the Kanifing municipality, as his government did in Banjul, transforming it with concrete roads, sewage and drainage systems. The transformation of Banjul from what it was in 2016 demonstrates that domestic resource mobilization can lead to self-reliance and rapid infrastructure development. The main referral hospital and a polyclinic in Banjul are also undergoing transformation and modernization in line with the needs of the health sector. Agriculture, the backbone of the country's economy, has been given increased attention. Farmers across the country have been supported with over 74,000 metric tons worth of fertilizer, seeds, and farm implements. In the 8 years of the Barrow rule, 50 tractors were distributed to farmers in 2018. Also, the Roots project has developed the capacity of farmers in the areas of poultry, cashew cultivation, vegetable growing, among others. While the Giraffe project reached over 43,000 individuals worth $116 million. The group and individual approaches to support farmers are creating networks of farmers countrywide. Since 2017, the Barrow administration has undertaken legal and institutional reforms. The security sector reforms have taken professionalism as an integral part of the transformation, including the development of policies and programs, emphasizing respect for civilian leadership and democratic governance. The various sister forces have developed policies and strategic plans to guide their operations. Great strides have been made to motivate staff with salary increments, culminating to 110% in 2025. On average, civil servants have realized a 30% salary increment to further encourage them to maintain professionalism and reduce the brain drain in key social sectors such as health and education. The increased accessibility of audit reports is putting the government on its toes, forcing institutional heads to take responsibility. The financial accounting systems using IFMIS and other systems facilitate more accurate monitoring of transactions, blocking leakages in financial transactions and in the fight against corruption. An anti-corruption law has been enacted and the setting up of an anti-corruption commission is in progress. As part of the Transitional Justice Program, the Barrow administration opposed autocratic leadership and set up a commission of specialists to investigate and get to the bottom of issues and allegations affecting the advancement of the nation. It began with the Gambianization of the judiciary, encouraging Gambian legal luminaries to take leadership in administering justice and the rule of law in the country. By 2025, the Transitional Justice Program is at a final stage of dispensing justice and reparation. Furthermore, Gambians took the lead in the Janneh Commission of Inquiry of the financial activities of certain public bodies, enterprises and offices, and the related accumulation of assets by the former president Yahya Jammeh and associates. Another major achievement in pursuing human rights and governance in the Gambia, President Barrow institutionalized a National Human Rights Commission on 14 February 2019 for the first time in the history of the country. The Commission provides services to citizens to report and get redress on human rights issues. So far, the Barrow government is on track to fulfilling its promise of good governance to the Gambian people and by extension, its development partners. In 2023, an Anti-Corruption Act was enacted and the government, through the Ministry of Justice, is set to have a commission and secretariat for its operations in 2025. Notwithstanding the achievements, one of the unfulfilled promises is realizing the diasporan vote. The Independent Electoral Commission has the task of making this a reality as it undertakes the electoral reform program. The promise of a new republic is ongoing processes to have a new constitution to guide it. The Barrow government set up a Constitution Review Commission in June 2018, and in November 2019, a draft constitution of 2020 was presented to the President. Following a cabinet review, the government presented a revised proposal to the National Assembly. The 2024 draft constitution is undergoing parliamentary processes and procedures. A massive revenue generation has been recorded under President Barrow, taking advantage of digitalization. Climate change is a natural phenomenon, and humans continue to weather the impact of the environment both positively and negatively. The Barrow government is determined to provide the policy environment to create a positive impact. The Balancing Act of Environmental Protection and Investment for Economic Growth continues to challenge the government. However, population growth and new settlements in growth centers are contributing factors. These increase the demand on the environment and its related matters. Clearing land areas for housing, industries, and social amenities are realities as the government continues to seek alternatives in the management of the environment. However, human attitude towards the environment calls for awareness raising, policy implementation, and execution of laws to improve the environment and take preventive measures. Another major project the government has undertaken is the Waka project along the Kotu stream. Media freedom, and by extension, freedom of speech, mostly through the media, got a boost under the leadership of President Barrow. Gambians were muted for over 2 decades under Jammeh regime, and the fight for democracy included liberating the media. The liberation came with a surge of both traditional and online media outlets. The government has developed a communication strategy and enacted the Access to Information Bill. To bring visibility to government programs, the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting has undertaken commendable town hall banterbar programs and regular press conferences to enlighten the public. A media commission established in 2024 is an addition to the favorable democratic environment in the Gambia. The pride of having a positive ranking of the Gambia on freedom of expression for successive years adds to the imaging of the country as the smiling coast of Africa. The office of the President under Barrow's leadership has been open to the media unprecedentedly. It encourages media engagements, sharing and keeping the public informed of the President's activities, and enhancing relations beyond official duties. The initiatives of establishing annual engagements such as the National Dialogue in 2023 and the first Presidential Media Dinner in 2024 manifest the President's determination and collaborative effort in nation building. As the country celebrates 60 years of nationhood, the Diamond Jubilee theme, Marching in Solidarity for Self-Reliance and National Development, is apt. It demonstrates the journey since 2017 in directing the Republic of the Gambia, its citizens, friends, and partners to that route of self-reliance and national development.